Hi guys, I'm Seth, welcome back to Warthog Defense. As Russia scrambled to train new pilots, a major blow hits home. In a daring overnight operation, Ukrainian resistance forces torched a Su-27 jet at Armavir airfield, one of Russia's key training bases. The message is clear, even the rear isn't out of reach.
Resistance forces set fire to a Su-27UB fighter jet used for pilot training in the Russian city of Armavir. The Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reported that the resistance forces executed the operation during the night of July 25 to 26 at the Armavir airfield. The military airbase is home to the 713th Training Aviation Regiment, which is part of the 783rd Training Center. Resistance to the Kremlin regime inside Russia is growing, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine added. According to local residents, communication in the settlements near the airfield is currently unavailable. The Armavir military airbase and the aircraft based there are primarily used for training cadets from the Krasnodar Higher Military Aviation School of Pilots. The Krasnodar Higher Military Aviation School of Pilots is one of the leading training institutions in the Russian Federation for preparing military pilots. A nighttime drone strike sparked a fire at a strategic facility in Russia's Volgograd region, according to regional channels in Volgograd, and a statement from the region's governor, Andrei Bocharov. During the night of July 27th, it was loud in Russia's Volgograd region as a drone attack reportedly triggered a fire near an oil storage facility. Local social media channels shared videos of explosions and flames, which eyewitnesses claim erupted on the grounds of a site resembling an oil depot. The footage shows large plumes of black smoke rising into the night sky. Meanwhile, Regional Governor Andrei Bocharov stated on the official channel of the Volgograd administration that air defense forces operated as expected and allegedly shot down all hostile drones targeting facilities in the Volgograd region. Air defense units of the Russian Ministry of Defense are operating routinely. There are no casualties. As a result of drone debris falling, the power supply was disrupted in the railway contact network in the Jofnevi district, Bocharov claimed. According to him, emergency and repair crews are currently working at the scene to assess the damage and address the aftermath. While Russian sources did not confirm a direct strike on an oil depot, the scale of the fire seen in photos suggests that a fuel or logistics hub critical for military operations may have been the target. There has been no official reaction from the Ukrainian side. The armed forces of Ukraine typically refrain from commenting on incidents inside Russian territory as part of a broader policy of strategic ambiguity. The Volgograd region, despite being far from the front lines, has been targeted by aerial attacks before. For context, on July 26th, Russian forces launched a massive strike across Ukraine using missiles, aircraft, kamikaze drones, and artillery. The fiercest fighting was reported in the Pokrovsk direction. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, as of 10 o'clock p.m. Kyiv time, there were 122 combat clashes. Russia launched 27 missiles, carried out 52 airstrikes, and dropped 93 guided bombs. Over 1,300 kamikaze drones were also used, along with more than 3,500 artillery attacks. And this is the aftermath of drone strikes on a railway station in the same Volgograd region. Ukrainian drone strikes have significantly disrupted operations at a key railway hub in the Volgograd region of Russia. On the night of July 27th, as Russians say, debris from intercepted Ukrainian drones damaged an electrical substation near Oktyabrski, Chutovo station, cutting power to the railway contact network and triggering a major fire. Train services in the area were delayed and flights from Volgograd airport were suspended through the early morning hours. That's not all. Partisans from the Atesh movement sabotaged a railway line between Safonove and Novoleksivka in occupied Kherson region, paralyzing Russian logistics on the Zaporizhzhia front. A damaged relay cabinet halted military cargo and fuel shipments toward Melitopol. This is awesome. A Ukrainian F-16 airborne over the skies of Ukraine. Ukraine has received around 10 operational F-16 fighter jets so far, mainly from the Netherlands and Denmark, with more expected as the international coalition ramps up deliveries through 2025. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, or Putin's lapdog in Europe, says Ukraine should remain a buffer state and work with the EU instead of joining it. He claims EU membership would bring the war to Europe's heart and calls for pragmatic cooperation rather than full integration.
A reasonably and well-organized cooperation that does not pose a war risk for the Union. So, there can be no question of neutrality, as that is irreversible. Once we took it on, we also accepted our fate. And Ukraine's fate today is that it is a buffer state neighboring Russia. And we do not want to take on this fate as the Hungarians have just escaped from it, because we were also a buffer state during the Cold War. So, there can be no question of neutrality, as that is irreversible. Once we took it on, we also accepted our fate. And Ukraine's fate today is that it is a buffer state neighboring Russia. And we do not want to take on this fate as the Hungarians have just escaped from it, because we were also a buffer state during the Cold War. We were not part of the Soviet Union, but we were located on its western edge, on the eastern edge of the Western world. But we were a buffer state. We understand this situation, we know what it is like. We do not want to return to this position. Ukraine is in this situation. This may not be comfortable or even good because they want to break out of it. But history is such that a country's background cannot be changed, especially not at the expense of a neighbor. So we have an offer regarding that, not membership, but strategic cooperation. A cooperation based on a contractual basis, which can be maintained, terminated or corrected as the situation requires. We would be partners in that, but now it's not about that. They are pushing for membership, and undoubtedly they are threatening. So Ukraine is making very serious threats towards Hungary. I try to handle this calmly, with strategic composure. There is no place for hot-headedness here.
So this is not a stage. Even if President Zelensky comes from the stage, this is not it. Calmness is needed here. It can be experienced.
Russian Tu-95MS strategic bombers flew a 15-hour flight over the Bering Sea, approaching the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. The mission included aerial refueling as well as escort by Su-35S and Su-30SM combat aircraft, which provided protection for the strategic carriers. In response, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, raised F-35 and F-16 fighters for interception. NORAD is a joint defense command of the United States and Canada located in Colorado. Its mission is to provide aerospace warning, airspace control, and defense of North America. NORAD noted that to respond to such threats, a multi-layered defense system was used, which included fighters, satellites, ground-based radars, and other surveillance equipment. The Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed the fact that their aircraft were escorted by foreign fighters, emphasizing, on certain sections of the route, strategic missile carriers were accompanied by fighters of foreign countries. The incident was another example of a provocation by Russia near the borders of the United States and Canada. Last year, NORAD forces already intercepted Russian and Chinese aircraft near Alaska, which also caused concern in the Pentagon. According to military analysts, Russia's actions are aimed at testing the readiness of North American defense systems and demonstrating the capabilities of its strategic aviation. Russian Tu-95MS escorted by Su-35S and US F-16s. Source: Russian Ministry of Defense. Structurally, the NORAD air defense system consists of a network of ground-based sensors and radars deployed in the United States and Canada, airborne warning systems, and combat aircraft. Combat aircraft include E-3 AWACS, long-range radar detection aircraft, Canadian CF-18 fighters, and American F-15, F-16, and F-22.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.